Good afternoon and welcome. I am Colleen Kern, a director with Tax Time CPAs. Today we are hosting Business Espresso, your jolt of business acumen. Our hosts have extensive backgrounds in their respective fields of sales and marketing, accounting, risk mitigation, wealth management, and law. Their backgrounds all come together to help small businesses thrive. Today, our expert comes to us from our panel. John is going to lead us through the buyer's journey. Every other week, you can find us here on Zoom at 1 o'clock Mountain Time, and we offer you a different topic presented by an expert to help you create, build, and optimize your business. Each presentation gives you at least one actionable step to walk away with to make you better at running your business, not being run by your business. Make sure you like and subscribe our YouTube channel to catch tips from all of our experts. And before I introduce today's hosts, a little reminder, we do try to make it interactive. So if you have any questions, please pop those in the Q&A box or in the chat. Don't keep them to yourself, and we'll try to get those answers live or in our Q&A session at the end. So without further ado, our hosts today are Christina Gilbertson, owner of Gilbertson Law Office. She uses her business law expertise to help small businesses protect themselves. Mike Hurdle, founding member of Tax Time CPAs. His expertise lies in accounting and tax strategy. Sam Saeed, who will be joining us in a little bit, an award-winning financial advisor with Northwestern Mutual to guide us in risk mitigation and wealth management. And finally, our presentations today, our very own John Gies. He is a business development coach for small business owners, helping them build a business and not just another job. After his career in corporate sales, he committed himself to the small business owners of Main Street. He has a published book, New Clients, New Revenue, and New Profits, and he is a contributing writer for the Six Figure Coach magazine and has taught and coached clients across North America and Europe. Today, he'll be sharing about how to build trust and win more sales by joining our customers on their buyer's journey. John, I'm excited to hear from you today. Take it away.
Great. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
And do you see the full screen and not my notes?
I see your notes at the moment.
Okay, so that's interesting. How's that? How's that? All right.
That's perfect.
So, business has changed a lot, right? I mean, we've gone through arguably one of the biggest business changes around. For some of us, we are overwhelmed with all of the new clients and the new revenue and all of the work that takes. And for others, we're still trying to figure out how to get our new clients. And there's really only two steps to getting a new client. One, we have to capture their attention, and two, we have to make it easy for them to buy. And today we're going to talk about the second part of that equation, making it easy for them to buy. Colleen answered all of this, so we'll just move right through this. If you're like most small business owners, your to-do list looks like this. It's everything. And yet, if we really focus on what it takes to grow our business, we can really boil it down to a few things. And one of those is what I like to call the conversion equation. This is 4 steps to capture your buyer's attention and make it easy for them to buy. First of all, we have to capture their attention. And we live in an attention economy, right? And your customer is scrolling through their phone, they're scrolling through the dial. There's just so much stuff coming at them. You have to find a way to capture their attention. Then we get to engage them. And then today we're going to really focus on the educate and offer, where we provide them information either verbally or in writing, or as you'll see, perhaps a combination of ways, to go along the journey with them as they're evaluating your products so they can decide whether or not they want to buy. Here's the thing. When they hit your website or call you the first time, they're not necessarily ready to buy. But 75% of those people will buy something in your category. So we want to go on the journey with them so that they will buy more from you. And then you get to make them the offer. And it is an attention economy. The data is something like we get bombarded with 40,000 messages a day. How can you as a small business owner stand out? Stand by for another topic on that with the market dominating message. But for today's conversation, the buyer's journey is where you've caught their attention and now they're saying, okay, I want to make a decision around the CPA or the house painter or the house cleaner. I don't know which one to buy and I don't know how to do it. I'm a little afraid. Will they take my money and run? Can I trust them? So they're considering the benefits of ownership, the objections to ownership. Who do I buy from? And as a business owner, as you're going on this journey with them, you can educate them not only on why you're the best, but also about the industry, because today the consumer does not want to make a mistake. In fact, they're so afraid of making a mistake, they'll often put off a purchase. So if you can help them ease their concerns about making a mistake, you win the deal. Because like I said, studies say about 3 to 9% are ready to buy today. So how do we go through that journey with them so that when they're ready to buy, they buy from us? Let's look at a couple of examples. So a few years ago, we worked with a cosmetic surgeon. They were specializing in mommy makeovers. They wanted to help mom feel better. They were spending about $6,000 a month in Facebook and pay-per-click advertising, generating about 35 leads, and they got 0 new patients out of this. Well, as you look at their website and as you look at their messaging, this is not a mom and looking for a makeover. This is a young lady that's already looking pretty good and she wants to nurture that body. So we had the client step back a little bit. Who is your customer? What are they thinking? At 10:30 at night, what are they Googling online? And here's the landing page we created. Do you want the body you had before you had kids? There's the problem that the consumer is thinking about. Now's the time to get rid of the problem areas. And then down here at the bottom is where the hook is for buyer's journey. Download our free candid report about what to think about as you think about a mommy makeover. And as you can see, they went from 35 leads to 400 leads per month. That's over an 1,100% increase. But here's where this gets really interesting, because you sent them the report and then they stayed in touch with them with the pieces of information in the report. So previous conversion rate was 0. The new, out of those 400 people, 67% said I want the report. All right, so now that means we've got a chance to stay in touch with a fairly large population. Of those, 12% turned into patients. That means for them, $600,000 a month in new revenue, all because they took the consumer from, do I want to have plastic surgery? Do I want to have cosmetic makeover? What's the fear about that? What do I need to worry about? And this free report was really nothing remarkable. It was what you can expect. What's recovery like? Where can you get financing? Things you can do to enhance your recovery. And so think about that. You get the report and then you can follow up with things to expect. How do you can finance it? You have a piece of content to continue to stay in touch with them as they're looking at your competitor's website. If your competitor is not doing this kind of education, who are they going to trust? They're going to trust you. Here's another example, psychiatrist. I love this kid's face, because if you've ever had a tweener, you know this face. But he changed his website, and again, this was his market dominating message. But he went from converting 10% of his customers to 20% of his visitors. So on average, 60 people would hit his website every month. 6 would become clients. What happens to the remaining 54? Well, here's what happens. 60 opt in for the report, 6 become clients, and 54 drop into the nurturing funnel or the lead campaign, or as we've been calling it today, the buyer's journey. Of those that go in there, 2, and we modified the numbers here a little bit just to make it easier, but just 2 additional patients per month from previous months become clients, this is what it looks like over a year. So you see in January, 60 people opted in, 6 became clients. In February, 60 people opted in, 6 became clients, and 2 from January became clients. So there's 8, 10, 12, 14. All of a sudden, you see how this can really grow to the point where the doc had to stop running his ads because he couldn't keep up with the business. So you're asking yourself, how do I do this? Well, whether you're a plumber, a CPA, a painter, there are probably a number of concerns that your buyers have. And so you can see, ask your plumber these 7 questions. Do they have a license? How are they licensed? Are they bonded? Are their employees bonded? Those are all things that we may not think about, but it's a way to help your consumer feel educated and then give them some criteria to sort out your competitors so they're choosing you. Or it's the same thing with the 3 biggest problems with plumbers. They don't come when they say they will. There's a truck that drives around town I see, they guarantee that they will be at your location within 5 minutes of the appointed time, or your service is free. That's a pretty remarkable guarantee. So a lot of times people ask me, well, how do I do this? And we'll talk about that in just a minute. Really what you want to do is you want to capture their attention and then travel along the journey with them as they're walking through their decision, giving them enough information that they can say, okay, I understand the problem. I understand what's available in the marketplace. And by golly, Jim, Mike, Christina, Sam, those are the people that I want to do business with because they've helped me understand the business and I'm comfortable. They have built trust with me. So let's stop for just a second and answer some questions. One of the questions I'm often asked as you're writing questions in the chat box is, I'm not a writer. How do I create this content? Some morning when you're have some time over a cup of coffee, write down the 10 questions your clients always ask you. Could be at the end of the day with a glass of wine or a mug of beer. What are the 10 questions your clients ask you most often? And how would you answer those questions? Now you've got a little bit of content. If you want to take it a little bit deeper, you can say, what are the 10 questions I wish they would ask me because they can make a better decision? And now you've got 20 pieces of information that you can share with your client. Don't share 20 pieces of information. They don't want that much. But pick the 3, 5, 6, 7 pieces of information that are relevant, and you can create a free report, a checklist, an infographic, something to pull them into the conversation so that you can accompany them on the buyer's journey. Colleen, are there any questions in the chat?
I do not see any at this time.
Okay.
But I know one of the things I always wonder about this is kind of what you've just answered, kind of where do I start? So just start with your most frequently asked questions. Excellent. That's a really helpful piece of information.
Yeah, it's really not that hard. You know, as we've talked amongst ourselves, you know, people don't want to read a book, although I'm going to talk to you about how you can get a book here in just a minute. But people want short, concise pieces of information. So you write a paragraph or 2. That's maybe 10 sentences, 12 sentences on your topic, and you're helping your buyer in short little chunks learn about, you know, some painters don't show up on time. In fact, I think the number is like 60% of the time. Okay, if you're a real estate agent and you're trying to get a house sold, you want them to not only show up on time, you want them to be done on time. So if that's your market, how do you help them understand why you won't let them suffer from that pain? And then it's an easy choice to choose you as their supplier.
Hey, John, I've got a quick question. How long do you run that drip campaign for people that initially come in to when you kind of move on from them?
It's a great question. And, you know, if I had it, I would pull out this big box of Depends because it depends. I'm testing a program right now where they've gone through like a 4-step process, and now they're dropping into a 14-week cycle where they're going to get a blog post every week for 14 weeks on information. I have a colleague that's in the payroll industry. She has an 11-point contact system that until she's hit all 11 points, she can't give up on the prospect. And so that's and what's cool about this is a combination of email, LinkedIn, text messaging, and telephone calls. So many people want to live in a world where we just communicate via text and email, so we don't have anybody actually say the word no to us. But the reality is we live in a multi-channel world. So when we can drop a physical letter, a postcard, an email, a series of emails followed by text messages, we can really pull in a larger swatch of how people communicate. So that was a long answer, but I have a box of Depends right over here. All right, well, let me make an offer to everybody that's on the phone. So as you heard, I have a book. It's called New Clients, New Revenue, and New Profits. If you'd like a free copy of this book, go to rassquared.com and you can download an e-version of this book. It's 8 strategies to help you grow your business without spending more money on marketing and advertising. Colleen, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
There's my cue. Thank you, John. I always find the buyer's journey quite fascinating. So it's always interesting to hear that ultimately the strategies are very similar regardless of your market, that you can kind of use the same foundational principles regardless of whether you're selling tax services, law services, or widgets, right? So would you say that's mostly true?
Say that a different way.
So sitting down and using like your most frequently asked questions applies regardless of your industry.
Oh yeah.
To figure out.
Yeah. Because it's, because our clients are always asking us questions, right? And if they're not asking us questions, we're not doing a good job in engaging them. Engagement is getting questions, getting objections, getting the things that say, well, help me understand that. If they don't ask a question, you're not selling them.
Right. And the buyer's journey might look a little different from industry to industry, but ultimately, if we can help educate on why we're the one they want to work with, and I think I used this in one of our social media things, but I think, and I may have learned this quote from you, that everyone likes to buy, no one likes to be sold.
Right.
So helping them along that journey. So I love that information. And I think we have a request that you pop your information, the site information to download your book into the chat, which would be fantastic. So I'm not sure I got that in the email from you today.
I think I got that. Yes, and it's the to your point, it's for some people it's about. So if you really sit back and think about what really frustrates your customers, what they're concerned about. So if they're going to go out buy pizza or an oil change, that's not a big ticket item. They're probably not going to have to worry about that. But when you say, I want you to spend $1,000 or $2,000 or $20,000 or more, now there's a risk involved. And now it's not so easy to make that decision. And so then it's, well, what are the frustrations that the buyer has? What are their concerns? What are their fears? And how can I help them without barfing all over them everything I know? How can I dribble out pieces of information so they go, okay, I get that. Okay, I get that. I get that. Oh, well, it makes perfect sense to work with Colleen.
Yeah. I don't see our other 2 hosts on here, but so I've often heard that it takes 8 to 12 touches with someone before they actually make the decision to buy, whether that's the first time they land on your website, your first conversation, all the multiple touch points that we have with people. So understanding where people are in their journey really helps with that. If anyone has questions, please pop them in the chat or in the Q&A box. We would love to have your questions. We do try to make this interactive. And of course, you can pop them if they come up afterwards into our Facebook group, and we can answer them there.
I would add one comment to that, Colleen.
Of course.
It takes 8 to 20.
8 to 20.
The average small business owner executes 2.
Yeah.
Think of all the business that you're losing because you don't have a way to stay in touch. And let's be honest, remember that to-do list of everything? Who has time to remember to pick up the phone or send an email or send a text? So the more you can find a way to create something meaningful to stay in touch with them, the easier it is to accompany them on that journey.
Exactly. Mike, any final thoughts?
No, I just want to say thank John. It was a great presentation, and this is actually some of the implementation that we've done using his strategies at tax time, and it's been fantastic, and we've seen an increase in revenue as well. So anybody who is on the call that says, hey, I'm tired, I'm spinning my wheels trying to find new clients, definitely reach out, definitely have a chat with John, because he can certainly help streamline your onboarding and sales process.
Yeah, and,
Thanks,
and
Mike.
help clarify the whole journey, for sure. Christina or Sam, if you are. Yeah, hey.
For me,
any final thoughts or questions?
but for me, it's actually more of a statement. I think a lot of people just forget to do the most simple things that can make a dramatic change to their business. So writing down 10 questions that clients are always asking is just such a quick exercise, and then the additional 10. I think there's a huge amount of exponential growth that can just come from that one thing, John. And getting to know you more and working with you, I appreciate that. And I actually want to work with you on a personal level. But that's great feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. And Christina?
Yeah, absolutely. I was just going to say, I mean, every time I listen to John do a talk, I take away little nuggets, and it's always super helpful. And it's always things that seem like, when he says it, it seems so obvious. But to me, I'm like, wait, why have I never thought of that? Why have I never done that? So I love these presentations. I love hearing from John about how to, actually have a plan for trying to improve my business and get myself out there. So thanks, John. It was great information. And as always, and as expected.
Yeah, definitely always get those little ahas and nuggets from you, John. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Again, you can get John's book by going to his website, which is in the chat right above our Facebook group. Continue the conversation in our Facebook group. We'd love to know what your aha was, to pop that into the Facebook group or into the event on LinkedIn. The recording will be up on YouTube, and we have some planned content coming in maybe about a month. Surprise little secret drop there to our YouTube channel. So make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube. Next week, we will be hearing from Mike. And then in another 2 weeks' time, we'll be hearing from Christina. So we'll be having tax and law tips coming up soon. So thank you so much for joining us. And we're going to give you the gift of an extra 5 minutes today back into your schedule. So flex that time as you like, and maybe get a little extra customer buyer journey done today. So thank you so much for joining us today, and we hope to see you again.